What's up, Joey boy?
How you doing?
Perfect, man.
Ended up here by accident today. I was visiting my youngest. Do you remember that picture?
Good afternoon. My name is Seth Durno. I'm the interim superintendent here at Lowell Cemetery. At this time, I would like to hold a moment of silence for the late Mr. R. Braybrick Walsh III, superintendent of the Lowell Cemetery, until his passing on January 14th, 2016. Bray is greatly missed by so many, his family, dear friends, co-workers, and many more. Love you, Bray. Sorry. I would like to begin with a warm welcome and thank you to our veterans, troops, families, friends, and guests who are here to share our Memorial Day event, a day of showing remembrance and honor to all that served our great country. As we stand here today, we pay tribute to all the military branches, the brave men and women who gave all, sacrificed all, and dedicated their lives going above and beyond the call of duty. We thank you. We also personally thank you all for coming today. The traditional flyover and landing of the UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter from the U.S. Army National Guard will take place at approximately 1:15 in the West Meadows section to my left. You will be able to speak with the helicopter crew and view it. However, due to safety issues, please remain outside the caution tape until everything is secured and the pilot and crew give permission to approach. As I close, I would like to first thank the Board of Trustees of the Lowell Cemetery for their support, generosity, and funding with today's event. They are President James Latham, First Vice President and Treasurer Robert McKittrick, Trustees Alex Wilson, Louis Kawabatis, George Duncan, Rosemary Noon, Anne Marie Page, Ryan Chapman, Mehmet Ali, Sayo Soon, and Darren Sykes. Our office manager Michael Lally and trustee Anne Marie Page have an extremely important part in organizing this event, gladly volunteering hours of their own time to assist in the success of this special day. Thank you both for your dedication. Thank you to the maintenance and ground staff. I'm so grateful and appreciative for what you've accomplished in such a short time. Giving your all, working hard long hours on weekends, and volunteering your own time today. It is because of you the Lowell Cemetery looks outstanding. I am proud of each and every one of you. Julie Danforth, our master gardener, George Manera, our foreman, Maria Hernandez, Susan Mill Watson, Scott Flanders, Juan Ovales, Lorenzo Paredes, and Jose DeJesus. I would also like to thank every other volunteer who donated their time assisting and ushering, distributing of programs, shuttling with the golf carts, etc. Lastly, thank you all for being here to honor those that served. I will now introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Robert Page, past commander of the Lowell Veterans Council. Commander Robert Page.
The first thing I want to do is thank you all for coming here today. We appreciate very much that you come here to honor us. And I also want to thank on behalf of the Lowell Veterans Council, I also want to thank the Board of Trustees. Thank you very much for caring for us old-timers and funny-looking hats. At this time, I'll call forward our chaplain, Billy Zunas, to offer the opening prayer.
Would you kindly uncover, please?
Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, who has dominion over life and death, grant to us the grace to remember with love and reverence our valiant and honored departed comrades. Grant peace and eternal rest to those who have gone before us. We also pray for all our active duty soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines of our country. Strengthen and console those in sorrow and bestow upon us thy everlasting blessing. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. We old men in funny-looking hats have a duty, that is to remember and honor our brothers and sisters who served our country. General Logan, in May of 1868, passed the torch to us when he issued his general order establishing how we veterans would honor our dead. He stated, thank you. He stated that there would be no particular line of march. We would wear no particular uniform. We would assemble in no particular place. But he did two things, two orders that we honor every year. The first honor is to raise the dear old flag high above them. Sergeant at Arms. Raise the colors, please. Attention. Sergeant at Arms. The second order he gave us is that we would place the fresh flower of springs upon their graves. At this time, if you would kindly escort Nadja forward to lay the fresh flowers of spring upon their graves. Sergeant at Arms. Will you lead us in pledging allegiance to the flag of the greatest country in the United States of America and in the world?
By face the flag, present arms, and salute.
I pledge allegiance
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two. Right, sir.
At this time, I'd like to extend our thanks to a few people, in particular Lowell Cemetery staff, Seth Durno, Superintendent, Michael Lally, Office Manager, George Manera, Foreman, Julie Danforth, Master Gardener. You can see the beautiful gardens we have here in the Lowell Cemetery. Jose De Jesus, Scott A. Flanders, Maria Hernandez, Susan Mills, Juan Ovales, and Lorenzo Paradi. We thank you very much for all the hard work you do. For our volunteers, Barbara Hoey and Ray Danforth, thank you very much. This beautiful crane, a large American flag, is donated here courtesy of the M&M Burbank Tree Service of Lowell. And we have an ambulance on duty here. We hope we don't need it. And that's courtesy of Trinity Ambulance. Just a few other people I'd like to recognize. The Lowell High School band, who do us this honor every year. We thank you very much. The director is Jim Lutz Jr. Thank you, Jim. The Westford Firefighters, Pipes and Drums. Michael Lally, again, the office manager. The Lowell High School Air Force ROTC. The City of Lowell Police Honor Guard, we thank you, gentlemen. The Lowell Fire Department Honor Guard, thank you very much, gentlemen and lady. Merrimack Valley Chapter of the Gold Star Wives. We thank you, ladies, once again for being with us. Whenever the Lowell Veterans Council meets, you're always welcome to join us. And whenever the Lowell Veterans Council sits down to eat, we always have a place at our table set for you. Thank you once again for being with us today. State Representatives Thomas Golden is here, Roddy Mom and David Nangle. The mayor of our great city, Ed Kennedy. Thank you, Ed. Members of the Lowell City Council are with us today. And also members of the Lowell School Committee. Marine Corps League, they're around somewhere. You can usually hear them, and there's two of them over there. The rest of them, I'm sure you'll hear a hurrah. There you go, you just heard it. Disabled American veterans are here today, thank you. Veterans of St. Louis Parish are no longer with us. The Armenian American veterans, Merrimack Valley Vietnam veterans are with us today. The Jewish War veterans, the Portuguese American veterans, the Franco-American veterans, the Greek American Legion, the 6th Middlesex Regiment, the American Legion Post 313 of North Chelmsford are here with us today. Middlesex County Sheriff's Department, the Drake at American Legion Post 315, the Drake at VFW Post 9307, the Bedford Hospital veterans are with us today. The Lawrence Civil War Memorial Guard are also here today. And those horses you see, those are from the 1st New Hampshire Cavalry. The Merrimack Valley Antique Military Vehicle Collectors. I'm sure you enjoyed all of that. And the Lowell Fire Department, engine number 11, will be on duty over by the helicopter pad. I thank you all for being with us today. Today is honor and remember. That's the theme today. You'll hear a lot over the next week about what's the price of freedom, and everybody will tell you they understand what that is. But in my opinion, not too many people truly understand the true price of freedom. When we soldiers raise our right hand, the first day we're in the military, we raise our right hand and we swear an oath to our government to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. And we swear that oath up to and including our lives. And we're fully aware of that. So that when one of our brothers dies, are we sad? Certainly we are. But do we understand? Yes, we do, because that's our oath. What's that?
Seat.
You want me to sit down?
No, sir. We have everybody else to sit down.
Oh, I'm sorry. He gave me a note that says sit down, so I thought they wanted me to sit down. Have your seats, folks. I apologize. I thought I was getting cut off.
I don't know how to put it to him, but
But you know, as I was saying, the price of freedom, it's an easy question. It's a difficult answer. And I'm going to try to answer it for you right now. So I hope you will listen. And I hope you'll excuse me for just 1 minute. The name of this poem is Daddy's Poem. Author, unknown. Her hair was up in a ponytail. Her favorite dress tied with a bow. Today was Daddy's day at school, and she couldn't wait to go. But her mommy tried to tell her that she probably should stay home. Why kids might not understand if she went to school alone. But she was not afraid. She knew just what to say, what to tell her classmates of why he wasn't there today. But still, her mother worried for her to face the day alone. And that was why, once again, she tried to keep her daughter home. But the little girl went to school, eager to tell them all about a dad she never sees, a dad who never calls. There were daddies all along the wall and back for everyone to see. Children squirming impatiently, anxious in their seats. One by one, the teacher called a student from the class to introduce their daddy, as seconds slowly passed. At last, the teacher called her name. Every child turned to stare. Each of them was searching for a man who wasn't there. "Where's her daddy at?" she heard a boy call out. "She probably doesn't have one," another student dared to shout. And from somewhere near the back, she heard a daddy say, "Looks like another deadbeat dad, too busy to waste his day." The words did not offend her as she smiled up at her mom, and she looked back at her teacher, who told her to go on. With her hands behind her back, she slowly began to speak, and out of the mouth of a child came words incredibly unique. "My daddy couldn't be here because he lives so far away, but I know he wishes he could be, since this is such a special day. And though you cannot meet him, I wanted you to know all about my daddy and how much he loves me so. He loved to tell me stories. He taught me to ride my bike. He surprised me with pink roses, and he taught me to fly a kite. We used to share fudge sundaes and ice cream in a cone. And though you cannot see him, I'm not standing here alone, 'cause my daddy's always with me, even though we are apart. I know because he told me he'll be forever in my heart." With that, her little hand reached up and lay across her chest, feeling her own heartbeat beneath her favorite dress. And from somewhere there in the crowd of dads, her mother stood in tears proudly watching her daughter, who was wise beyond her years. For she stood up for the love of a man not in her life, doing what was best for her, doing what was right. And when she dropped her hand back down, staring straight into the crowd, she finished with a voice so soft, but its message clear and loud. I love my daddy very much. He's my shining star. And if he could, he'd be here. But heaven's just too far. You see, he was an American soldier, and he died just this past year when a roadside bomb hit his convoy and taught Americans to fear. But sometimes when I close my eyes, it's like he never went away. And then she closed her eyes and saw him there that day. Give a pink rose to each of the ladies in the tent, not the Gold Star, the other ladies. Pink rose right here. And to her mother's amazement, she witnessed with surprise a room full of daddies and children, all starting to close their eyes. Who knows what they saw before them? Who knows what they felt inside? Perhaps for merely a second, they saw him at her side. I know you're with me, Daddy. To the silent, she called out. And what happened next made believers of those once filled with doubt. Not one in that room could explain it, for each of their eyes had been closed. But there on the desk beside her was a fragrant, long-stemmed pink rose. And a child was blessed, if only for a moment, by the love of her shining star, and given the gift of believing that heaven is never too far. So what price freedom? Ask the boys and girls that have no daddy or mummy. Ask those that have lost a spouse. Ask those parents that have lost a son or a daughter. The measure of freedom is more for some than it is for others. On this Memorial Day, remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice, and for families who paid such a high price for freedom. What price? Freedom? God bless you all, and God bless America. Sergeant at Arms. Would you escort Michael Lally to the podium, please? At this time, we're going to escort Mr. Michael Lally to the podium to sing our national anthem.
Everybody rise, please. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I was going to sing that, but I said, no, let Michael do it. You don't know, you should be very grateful for that. At this time, I'm going to introduce the elected officials who are with us here today. Corey Belanger, City Councilor. Former Mayor and current City Councilor, Rodney Elliott. Current Mayor, former City Councilor, Ed Kennedy. City Councilor, James Leary. And my favorite person, I don't know where she is. I know she's here. If she's here, I can see her now. And I'll tell you, she's former mayor, current city councilor. City council, I don't even know how many years. I think I was a pup. 21 years city councilor. Please welcome Rita Mercia. City Councilor James Milanazzo. Dan Rook, City Councilor. Jim Leary, City Councilor. Did I call you off already, Jim? I'll give you it twice. William Samara, City Councilor. And Mr. Robert Gignac, Lowell School Committee. Thank you for being with us today. Is he here? Oh. State Representative David Nangle. I'm sorry, David. Where are you? I'm sure I'm missing somebody. If I missed anybody, make yourself known. He's gone, isn't he? Yeah.
One more here you want you to mention. Kenneth Christopher Congress.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay.
I beg your pardon. I'm sorry, what did you say to me? No, Tom Golden was here with us today, and we very much appreciated that, but he's left for some reason. I'm not quite sure why, but we appreciate him being here. And at this time, a minute ago, I said I was going to introduce my favorite lady, and I lied. I'm going to tell you right up front, I lied, because the next speaker is one of my favorite ladies. The first time I met her, her father's a veteran. Her father was a United States Marine. Her father fought on Iwo Jima. And when she decided as a young lady to run for political office, she spoke with her dad, as good daughters do. And when she told him, I'm interested in running for political office, he said to her, I'll only say one thing to you. Always do what's right. I've never forgotten that. State Senator Eileen Donohue.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here today, and I'm honored to be here with the entire Lowell State House delegation. As Bob has introduced, Representative Tom Golden, Representative David Nangle, and Representative Roddy Mom was here, and I think is here somewhere in the crowd. I am truly humbled to have this opportunity to come before you, where we can express our gratitude for our country's fallen servicemen and women. You know, the theme today, to honor and to remember. And I'd first like to thank the Lowell Cemetery Board of Trustees here for organizing this wonderful event. Oh, there's Representative Mom in the background. He's taking pictures because he's always doing that. But, you know, the Board of Trustees has maintained this incredibly beautiful cemetery, not just as a place where these hallowed grounds where so many have been laid to rest, but it's a place of solace, it's a place of peace for so many. And this memorial service is a very, very special one, and I thank them for continuing this incredibly important tradition, and all of the staff here who make this possible. I also want to thank all the members of our armed services who are here today, for our veterans, for their families, for their friends, and for all who we are remembering today. But I most importantly want to thank the Gold Star wives and mothers who are here. When we think of those who have given their lives for our country, we think of their sacrifice, which is tremendous. You know, General Schwarzkopf once said, the heroes aren't the ones who order men and women into battle. The heroes are the ones who go to war, into battle. They are our true heroes. And it's with deep respect and gratitude each year that we observe Memorial Day to bring honor and meaning to a tradition of tribute for our departed heroes, those courageous men and women who answered the call of duty and served in harm's way for the sake of this great nation. Thomas Jefferson once said, "The price of freedom is eternal vigilance." And that is so true today, that we must be vigilant so that we can continue to enjoy freedom here in the greatest country on earth. Our soldiers who have made the ultimate sacrifice to preserve the ideals that define our nation, among them freedom, justice, liberty, and equality. As we remember and honor these men and women we have lost, we must remember that we still have men and women that are still serving, still fighting around the globe and continuing to put their lives on the line every day for us. We owe a lasting tribute to these courageous men and women who stepped forward when their country called and made it possible for us to be here today. We've been observing Memorial Day since the Civil War. And many of those who fought bravely in the Civil War are laid to rest right here in the Lowell Cemetery. And so many since. It's here at the cemetery that we honor those who have fought. With cherished memories, we will not forget those we have lost, and those we hold dear to remain in our hearts forever. Again, it is truly an honor to be here today, and I'm eternally grateful to all of those who serve our country. And I'll leave you with these words of another individual who served in a different capacity, Paul Tsongas, who served, Lowell's son, served in the United States Senate, and he too is laid to rest here in this cemetery. But he once said, "America is hope. It is compromise. It is excellence. It is valor." It's that valor that we honor today, the bravery of the men and women who have made it possible for us to enjoy this beautiful ceremony. Thank you all. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the mayor of our beautiful city, Mayor Edward Kennedy.
Good afternoon. Before I begin, I'd just like to take a minute to recognize one person that hasn't been recognized since so far, and that is School Committeeman Curtis LeMay from the Regional Vocational Technical High School. All right.
All right. Hey. Great job, man.
I'm not sure a gavel was going to do any good at all. Anyways, good afternoon. There are two national holidays dedicated to remembering those who have served in our nation's armed forces. Veterans Day, which is observed in November, is meant to celebrate the service of all of the men and women who have served in the armed forces in the United States. Memorial Day, which we will observe next Monday, is meant to honor the more than 1 million Americans who have died while in military service. It is an honor for me to be with you today to honor and remember all those who made the ultimate sacrifice in war, the thousands of fallen brothers and sisters who have died defending the freedom that everyone in this country enjoys today. Too often, many of us take our freedom for granted. We forget that in certain parts of the world today, the freedom that we live with on a daily basis is just a dream for millions of people in many other countries. The holiday we know as Memorial Day originated shortly after the American Civil War, when in 1868, a group of Union veterans decided to designate a day in May to decorate the graves of Union soldiers who had died in the Civil War. Back then, it was known as Decoration Day rather than Memorial Day. Eventually, Confederate soldiers were included, and the holiday was extended to honor all Americans who died while in military service. Gradually, the name of the day changed from Decoration Day to Memorial Day, but the new name did not become common until after World War II, and did not become the official name until 1967. For most of us, Memorial Day weekend kicks off the summer season. It is the beginning of several months of warm weather. It is a time for family barbecues in the backyard, maybe a day at the beach or a weekend in the White Mountains. Many communities have parades, outdoor concerts that feature patriotic songs, or memorials like the one here today. For young people, it means that school is almost over and summer vacation is right around the corner. When I was young, Memorial Day meant a big parade in downtown Lowell and a visit to family graves at St. Patrick's Cemetery. My parents would often plan other fun activities for the weekend. But Memorial Day is more than just a time for holiday fun. It is, and should be, first and foremost, a day to remember that the American way of life comes at a high cost. It is a day to remember that those who paid that cost gave up their lives to protect the freedom, the liberties, and the way of life we enjoy today. It is a time to be grateful. I would like to conclude with a poem by C.J. Johnson. We walked across the crosses where our fallen soldiers lay, and listened to the bugle as taps began to play. The chaplain led a prayer, we stood with heads bowed low, and I thought of fallen comrades I had known so long ago. They came from every city across this fertile land, that we might live in freedom. They lie here beneath the sand. I felt a little guilty. My sacrifice was small. I lost only a little time, but these men lost their all. Now the services are over for this Memorial Day. To the names upon the crosses, I just want to say, thanks for what you've given. No one could ask for more. May you rest with God in heaven from now through evermore. Thank you very much.
I'd like to introduce a couple of people that I failed to introduce. First of all, State Representative Imrati Imam and his family. Also behind me is our Veteran Service Officer, Eric Lamash. Eric. And also the Chairman of the Board of Veterans Assisting Veterans, John McDonald. John. Also today, representing Congresswoman Nikki Songas, is Ken Christopher. Ken, where are you? Thank you for being here, Ken. At this time, I'm introducing Secretary Francisco Urena, Massachusetts Department of Veterans Services.
Thank you, Bob, and good afternoon to each and every one of you. What a great privilege and pleasure it is for me to be here in Lowell, the Merrimack Valley, honoring our fallen and honoring our heroes. Veterans. Can I ask all those who have served to please stand or raise your hand if you may?
I'm already standing.
Thank you, Bob, for the reminder. Let's give a round of applause to all of our veteran families who are here. Thank you. Senator Donahue, State Representatives, Mayor Kennedy, General Smith, Gold Star families. On behalf of Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, our 365,000 veterans that call Massachusetts home, what a privilege it is for me to lead our Massachusetts Department of Veteran Services. Unique in the country, with a veteran service officer in every city and town. I'm happy that Eric LaMarche was recognized because he is a true champion of veterans and families in Lowell, advocating, collaborating, and working with organizations to ensure that our veterans do not go without, especially those in need, our Gold Star families and families of all veterans. Know that he is your biggest advocate locally. All of our veteran service officers in each city and town are your local one point of contact, a door to many benefits and services available. I do want to take a quick moment of silence for Officer Ronald Tarantino of Auburn, who in the late hours of last night was killed in the line of duty. Thank you. And that said, I want to recognize the first responders that are here, both the men and women of Lowell's finest, the Lowell Police and Fire Department, for putting their lives on the line each and every day that they leave home. It is a risk that they take for us to keep the city, our state, and country free. So to the men and women, thank you for your service. Millions of Americans across this country will gather over the next coming weeks to honor those who have died in our armed forces. Here in Lowell, names like Ladd, Whitney, Medal of Honor recipient Joseph Olette, James Sullivan, and many more will always be remembered and never be forgotten. We stand here today on these hallowed grounds of the Lowell Cemetery and memorialize those who are no longer here. As we reflect with our fellow citizens, we remember those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. But what does the ultimate sacrifice mean? In general sense of definition, death, especially for that of one's country. These men and women who have given the gift of life, they have given up their moments. Moments that they could have kissed their bride, hugged their children, and seen the sons and daughters grow up. Moments of walking into a safe bed, the smell of coffee in the air, and the warm embrace of their loved ones. Their memories of those who have fallen for freedom is all that is left. A memory that we here today honor those who have fallen, those who have known, and their memories not forgotten. Regardless of when and where our heroes served, what they left behind is a gift to us all. Now, they are a memory, but they were people who gave their ultimate sacrifice, a sacrifice so that we could continue. Continue to build this great nation, to not allow but only to honor and to make something of their gift to us. This time of year, I carry with me a letter, a special letter that was written. It was a request of Governor Andrew to President Lincoln, and it was to a Gold Star mother, Lydia Bixby, a widow living in Boston who was thought to have lost 5 sons of the Union, of the Army of the Republic in the Civil War. And the letter reads from the Executive Mansion, November 21st, 1864. Dear Madam, I have been shown in the files of the War Department a statement of the Adjutant General of Massachusetts that you are the mother of 5 sons who have died gloriously on the fields of battle. I know how weak and fruitless it must be any words of mine which should attempt to beguile the grief and loss of your loved ones so overwhelmingly. But I cannot refrain from tendering you with consult that may be found in the thanks of this republic that they saved. I pray that our Heavenly Fathers may assuage the anguish and bereavement that you leave only to cherish the memories of those loved and lost, and that the solemn pride that must be felt maybe for them to lay their lives so constantly to sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. Yours, very special and respectfully, Abraham Lincoln. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the meaning of Memorial Day. May we never forget those who have and continue to serve, those who have laid their lives so that we may enjoy the freedoms which we do today. May God bless you, this great city of Lowell. May God bless our Gold Star families. And may we never forget the memories of those who have sacrificed. Thank you so very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much. And now our next speaker, I'm very proud to introduce, is Paul Gregory Smith, Brigadier General, U.S. Army retired, and I'm going to read his biography for you, if you will give me one moment. I apologize. Brigadier General Smith received his commission on February 6, 1979. He has commanded at the company, battalion, brigade, and state levels. He also served as the Director of Public Affairs for the Massachusetts National Guard. Brigadier General Smith graduated from the U.S. Army War College in 2005 and subsequently serves as a visiting instructor at the War College. Brigadier General Smith responded to his first civil support mission with the Massachusetts National Guard in January 1979. Since then, he has served during numerous natural disasters and civil disturbances. Most recently, he has been the Joint Task Force Commander for the Western Massachusetts Tornado, 2011, Hurricane Irene, 2011, Operation Harvest Snow, 2011, Superstorm Sandy, 2012, Winter Storm Nemo, 2013, Winter Storm Saturn, 2013, and the Boston Marathon bombings, 2013. Brigadier General Smith was the designated dual status commander for Massachusetts. Brigadier General Smith served as the commander of the Massachusetts Army National Guard from 2011 to 2014. He was the senior Army officer in the force, advised the Adjutant General regarding Army issues, and was responsible for all aspects of training, readiness, and force development. He served on the National Guard Bureau Joint Diversity Executive Council and was the Governor's designated commissioner to the Military Interstate Children's Compact Commission. He also led a network of initiatives that support soldiers, airmen, and military families. Brigadier Smith was also responsible for training and developing United Nations peacekeeping forces in the Republic of Paraguay. Brigadier General Smith holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Special Education from Fitchburg State College, a Master of Arts degree in Counseling Psychology from Anna Maria College, and a Master of Strategic Studies degree from the U.S. Army War College. For more than 35 years, he has served as a citizen soldier and a public school educator. He resides in Ashburnham with his family and is the assistant principal at Oakmont Regional High School. Sergeant at Arms. Escort the general here, please.
All right, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for patiently sitting through my biography. I'm always a little embarrassed because sometimes I say that my military career has been one disaster after another. Let's hope this afternoon isn't one of those. But I'm certainly personally honored to be here this afternoon. I actually worked in Lowell for a part of my career, way, way back when. But on behalf of our new Adjutant General of Massachusetts, Major General Gary Keefe, we thank you for including the Massachusetts National Guard in this commemoration. Mayor, I have to apologize about the early arrival of our, I have to say this with pride, Army Black Hawk helicopter. But in that business, it's always better to be early than to be late. But anyway, we are very proud, and I speak for all the veterans here, I'm sure, and I have to name Secretary Urena in particular. He didn't specify that he is a Marine Corps veteran, and certainly knows what veterans and families go through. Thank you for your service, Secretary. The sound of a Black Hawk coming into a landing zone is something that makes us all, our hearts swell with hope and pride. It is an immeasurable expectation, because that means hope, that means support, and that means victory. So that's a great thing to see coming in. Thank you all for taking the time to be here today. Memorial Day is a time when we honor our heroes and we remember. We honor and remember great public servants who rest here in this hallowed place after a lifetime of service to our nation. In particular, we honor Congresswoman Edith Norris Rogers, the first female Congresswoman from Massachusetts, and a champion of veterans' rights, and the woman who single-handedly created the Women's Army Corps. We also honor the memory of the great Senator Paul Tsongas, who accomplished so much for our Commonwealth, so much for the city of Lowell, and left us way too soon. We also honor and remember those young men and women who left behind their school books, their jobs, their families, to put themselves in harm's way and to offer up the ultimate sacrifice. They answered the call of duty and gave their lives because they loved their country, they loved their comrades, and they loved their homes more than they valued life itself. Sometimes we have a tendency to think of them as stone images, names on a plaque, or a special breed of human being who was born for valor and sacrifice. But they were ordinary people like us, who somehow had the courage to do extraordinary things. They were people like a dear college friend, Lieutenant Colonel Mike Kozuski. Mike was a tough little guy who loved to sing in the chorus, almost as much as he loved the United States Marine Corps, but not nearly as much as he loved his wife Donna and his daughters. Mike was an exceptional intelligence officer who gave his life for our nation during the final hours of Operation Desert Storm. Our fallen heroes were ordinary people like Sergeant Michael Kelly, a chaplain's assistant who drew amazing cartoons and knew how to make his buddies laugh. Sergeant Kelly made the ultimate sacrifice in Afghanistan when he volunteered to offload a Black Hawk, which was under fire from the Taliban. A while ago, I read a wonderful essay in the Wall Street Journal, and I'd like to read a few lines from it. It goes like this: "Many young warriors who, as the poet wrote, fell with their faces to the foe, never set foot on a college campus. They never slipped a ring on a sweetheart's finger. They never nestled an infant against their chest. They never roughhoused in the living room with their kids. They never tipped down the stairs to lay out Santa's toys. They never wiped away a tear before they walked their princess down the aisle. They never heard a new generation call out, 'I love you, Grandpa.' But on Memorial Day, a moment's reflection is all it takes to realize that every name on our city's monuments or in the cemetery was a real live person. One who bicycled down the same streets, one who delivered the morning newspaper, somebody who was kept after school for misbehavior, somebody who sneaked a smoke somewhere, somebody who cannonballed into a lake on a hot summer afternoon. It's important for us to remember that our honored war dead were fathers, they were brothers and sisters, neighbors, lovers, friends. They were citizens of Lowell, they were New Englanders, but most importantly, they were Americans. But not all of the heroes we remember today are in cemeteries like this beautiful cemetery. They're still among us, but they left a piece of themselves far away, in a different time, on a foreign battlefield. And on Memorial Day, I think about a young sergeant I served with who traveled to Baghdad with his medical unit to provide health care to injured Americans and Iraqis. One day, an insurgent mortar round exploded a few feet away from him, and in a flash, he went from a caregiver to a victim in need of care. He endured hours of pain and surgery to repair his wounds, but his spirit was broken as well. But with the help of his loving family, an assistance dog, and his mission to help other veterans, he's finding healing today and serves as a town veterans agent not far from here. I also remember a grizzled sergeant major who stepped up to repair a jammed machine gun under intense enemy fire while his forward operating base was being overrun. The official report later stated that without the critical machine gun's firepower, the base would have been taken by the insurgents and hundreds of dangerous prisoners would have been released. The Sergeant Major was awarded the Bronze Star for valor, but he lost something during that firefight too. I saw him last year after he hiked the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine. He told me he left a lot of baggage by the side of the Appalachian Trail, and that long hike finally helped him make his way back home. Please remember all our wounded warriors who are still trying to find their way back home and support the agencies that serve their many needs. On Memorial Day, I also think about the families of warriors, and we're honored to have the Gold Star wives and mothers with us today. Any soldier will tell you that families bear the toughest part of deployment because of all the worry, the heartache, and the loneliness. And for those families who have lost a loved one, the pain is unimaginable. But on Memorial Day, I remember heroes, people like Kevin and Elaine Jones, who have channeled their grief over the loss of their son, First Lieutenant Ryan Jones, into positive action by establishing a foundation which has improved the lives of thousands of veterans and young people. No one would blame Kevin and Elaine if they chose to isolate themselves or give in to bitterness. But they've had the strength and the courage to reach out to others in Ryan's memory. And so that today he's very much alive through the good works that they do for their community and for veterans. They too are heroes. So many have given so much for our freedom that for us who survive, there's a sense of obligation as we remember their sacrifices today. But I think if they could stand here next to me, they'd say something like this: "Don't cry beside my grave today. Go out and have a barbecue with your friends. Go boating in the lake. Hug your children close. It's true, I paid a great price for our freedom in this great nation, but I did it for you. Pay me back by living life to the fullest. Participate in our democracy. Vote. And when you see our flag flutter in the breeze, take a moment to remember me." Thank you all for taking the time today to remember our heroes. May God bless them all, and may God forever bless the United States of America.
You're so right, General. When those of us who spoke today got up here, we didn't start out by saying once upon a time. What we speak about is not a fairy tale. What we speak about is our friends and our buddies who were warm-blooded, breathing human beings, and we miss them all. Sergeant at Arms. Have the honor guard fire the salute. The salute will be fired by the Franco-American veterans, the Drake and American Legion, and the Marine Corps League. At this time, a salute will be fired. Sergeant at Arms, at this time, a salute will be fired by the Lawrence Civil War Memorial Guard. Gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. Taps were played by Colonel Sam Polton. Thank you, Sam. At this time, I'll call forward Michael Lally to sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Before I have the closing prayer, I'd like to remind folks to stand behind, if you will, because the Lowell High School band is going to entertain us with a melody of tunes, and we thank them very much for that. And with that, I'll call forward our chaplain, William Zunas, for the closing prayer.
Almighty God, we pray for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, the heroic men and women who have defended our country under arms, who with help have kept America free. May the members of our armed forces be filled with courage to face each day, and may they trust in your mighty power to accomplish each task. Let our military brothers and sisters feel our love and support. Let us be mindful of our POWs, MIAs, and all military personnel serving around the globe. Amen.
Thanks, Bill. You're welcome. And that concludes our ceremonies. We thank you all again for being here today. Please go over and see the helicopter. Have the children, they'll allow the children to board and take your pictures with the children over at the helicopter. Thank you all again.